Welcome back. So, we're going to apply all those rules we talked about in terms of transformations to help us to study how to graph absolute value equations. So, absolute value equations, you can see I already have one pre-filled in for you, okay? And remember, an absolute value, all it does is it wipes the sign off of whatever is in it. So that's why if I have an x value of -3, when I take the absolute value of it, it becomes +3. So instead of a straight line, you're getting two lines coming off of a vertex point. Okay? Two important features. So, axis of symmetry. That's the line that cuts the graph in half. So here, that vertical line, I could use the equation x equals 0 to represent, okay? Whenever you're at the axis of symmetry, remember you're writing an equation for me. Do not just put 0, put x equals 0. The vertex, the vertex is that bottom or top of the graph. So the vertex of here, that parent function, is going to be 0, 0. And now what we're going to do is we're going to study how can we graph this based on transformations. Okay, so based on transformations, we're going to graph this thing. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is look at this. You know what that means now. You know that that's talking about a transformation right 2 and up 4. So looking at the graph or looking at the equation, I can tell you what the transformations are. And now what you're going to do is you can shift that whole graph. You can translate the whole graph based on that. So here I've actually already shown you the outline of that graph still, right? The parent function. Now picture taking every single point, okay, moving it right 2. So I'm going to take this point right here, right 2, up 4. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to take this point, right 2, up 4. This point, right 2, up 4. This point, right 2, up 4. This point, right 2, up, oh, right 2, up 4. This one, right 2, up 4. And finally that one. And what you'll notice is now that is my new function. Okay, so now where did my vertex end up? Well, my vertex ended up following that exact pattern. My vertex started at 0, 0, then went right 2 and up 4. My axis of symmetry, where's the line that cuts my new graph in half? It also followed that transformation of moving to the right 2. So we can learn how to graph these absolute values based on the transformations. So let me show you one from scratch, okay? Because obviously on the test, you're not going to have a pre-filled in absolute value. What you need to know is that you're talking about a V shape though, okay? And what you saw is, remember, the vertex followed this transformation. So that is left 3 down 5. So my vertex follows that. Left 3 down 5. So if you draw your vertex, that's going to tell you your starting point because you know the vertex should be at 0, 0, but it follows that transformation. And you also know your axis of symmetry also follows that transformation. Okay, so right now you can actually already see all of that. And now what you need to remember is that you're getting your V shape. Okay, and to get that V shape, now I go from my vertex up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So that is how you get your V shape. And for your axis of symmetry, remember now what that's going to do is create a mirror image in the opposite direction. And that is how you end up getting that V shape. All right, let's take another look and see what we can figure out. So this one, again, I need to know where the vertex is. The vertex followed these transformations. So here, right 3, up 1. So moving right 3 and up 1 will put my vertex right there. My axis of symmetry followed that same transformation. It also moved to the right 3. So that's going to be the most important part, okay? Recognizing all of that. Now, there's one more number in here that you might see, that 2. Remember that 2 is a vertical stretch. So now, instead of just going up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, now we have a vertical stretch, okay? What the stretch is going to do is now we're going to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. So our graph is going to rise twice as quickly. And then across axis of symmetry, now we're going to get the same thing on the other side. And that is how we get the V shape that we know we should be. All right, and finally, looking at our last example. So again, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to find where my vertex is. That tells me it's left 2, up 5. So left 2, up 5, it's going to put me right there. My axis of symmetry follows that same pattern, okay? My axis of symmetry follows it left 2. Now this time, not only do I have a stretch of 2, but that is going to cause an x-axis reflection, okay? That is going to reflect my graph pointing downward. So look, because instead of going up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, now I'm going to go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, so on and so forth. So not only is it creating a stretch, now it's also creating an x-axis reflection. That negative out front is going to mean that my graph is going to open downward. All right, so thank you for joining me for going back over the basics of graphing absolute values. Again, once this is done, now you are ready to move on and start doing your practice work.